Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Watford Way for your Watford versus Stoke City Carabao Cup match preview. Quite a lot to get into actually today. Won't be with you too long though. Ben Wilmot to return to Watford. Will he play in the game? We'll discuss about that. Peter Atebo not available for this fixture because of the loan arrangement between the two clubs. Who will start in goal? That's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, Ben Foster coming for Daniel Bachmann in the Premier League against Norwich. It'll be interesting to see who starts in goal for Watford, and ultimately that will determine who plays against Newcastle on Saturday. Jean Pedro still not available after coming back from injury. Ozan Tufan to make his debut, and of course, I'll give you my score prediction for the game as well. So, hope you're all having a good evening, and yeah, we'll get straight into it. So, Stoke City in the Carabao Cup tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I can see Michelle in chat asking about Cucho. We'll discuss about him as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. I just like getting back to the Vic at the moment. It's just really, really enjoyable. We've got a great set of lads in the squad at the moment. Hi Edward, hope you had a great day, mate. But yeah, really, really enjoyable to get back to the Vic at the moment. And hopefully Watford can continue our good, I say good form. We lost 3 games in a row and we beat Norwich, but hopefully we can continue the positivity into this Stoke City game. Now we'll start off with the first talking point, which is Ben Wilmot to return. Will he actually play? That's a big question. I don't know, because Ben Wilmot is, arguably Stoke's best defender. I was gutted when he left Watford, and he's done really, really well for them. And I know the fans at Stoke do like Ben. But will they start him in this cup game? I'm not so sure. They've got. We all know what the Championship's like. There's a lot of games, midweek, weekend. It's very, very relentless. Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. It's very, very relentless in the Championship. So will Ben Wilmot start? I'm not sure. I actually hope he does, just because I want to see him again. I thought, as I said, I thought he's really good at Watford. But yeah, we all know what Ben Wilmot can offer. Good ball playing centre back. But Peter Atebo, on the subject of former players, he's a former Stoke player. He is not able to play in this game because of the loan agreement between the two clubs. Sometimes you can get a club. I think Chelsea do it. I think there's some other clubs that do it as well. But sometimes you can get a club where a player will go out on loan and they can actually play against their parent club. But in this scenario, it's been agreed that Peter Atebo can't feature against Stoke, which, to be honest, I couldn't care about. We've got loads of midfielders, Gosling, Cleverley, Loser. These players all need some game time. So Peter Atebo out of this game does not bother me. Hi Rudy, hope you're having a great day, mate. And Edward's saying I could see him coming off the bench. That's standing ovation. I presume you are talking about Ben Wilmot there, Edward. And yeah, I would like to see that. As I said, Ben Wilmot did nothing wrong. It's more Xisco's issue. Xisco just kind of refused to play Ben Wilmot towards the end of the Championship season. I don't know if you remember, we played against Swansea in the last Championship game, meaningless game because we've been promoted already. And Ben Wilmot still didn't play in that. So when that happened, I kind of knew that Ben Wilmot's future was up at Watford. But yeah, as I said, it would be great to see Ben Wilmot return to Vicarage Road. Who will start in goal? This is a very, very interesting topic of conversation. Let me know in chat what your opinion is of this, because it's very, very controversial. Now, obviously, we've got some fantastic goalkeepers at the club. We've got Ben Foster, we've got Daniel Bachmann, we've got Pontus Dahlberg out on loan, we've got Rob Elliott as like a backup goalkeeper. So we do have some good quality goalkeepers at Watford, and it's going to be interesting to see throughout the season how that competition for places kind of pans out, because ultimately, as a goalkeeper, there's only one position, and if you are making mistakes and you've got a good goalkeeper on the bench to come in and take your place, you've got a manager who's ballsy enough, and Xisco obviously is. You can make that change, and Xisco did make that change against Norwich, bringing Ben Foster back in. Excuse me. But yeah, Foster back in for Norwich. I thought Foster did okay. Probably should have done better on Pukki's goal, but apart from that, he's just composed. What you get with Ben Foster is you get experience. You get, what is he, 38, 39, and I think Daniel Bachmann is the future of Watford. So is Pontus Dahlberg. Dalberg's out on loan. Batman's at the club. You know what? It's just difficult for me. I would have given, for me personally, I would have given Daniel Batman a lot more time, at least until the next international break, which I think that next international break is after the Leeds game. I would have given him until then at least. And you know, ultimately, Xisco's been proved right. We won the Norwich game with Foster in goal. But yeah, I think it was harsh, but probably was the right decision to make. Actually, let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Michelle saying 2-1 to Watford. That's actually what I've gone for. Stoke are a decent team, to be honest. Yeah, they're doing really, really well in the Championship this season. I think they're fifth, aren't they, in the Championship? So that they've had a good start to the season. So yeah, it is going to be harder than we think. I think it all depends as well on you know, how many players Watford rest, how many players Stoke rest, and also the players we bring in. Because if we're going to bring in, you know, we've got so much depth in our squad. We've got Loser, who's really not had a look in this season. We've got Kabasele, Ngakia, Messina, Foster, Backman, you know, Cleverly, Goslin. There's so many players there who can come in and haven't had a lot of minutes. So, you know, regardless of the squad that Stoke put out, I still think that even with our fringe players, we should be giving them a good game, if not beating them. Rudy, very, very controversial here from Rudy, saying we should see Rob Elliott starting in goal. There's no team news about Matt Backman. I am guessing he is fit to play the game. Now, it's interesting because it was reported by Adam Leventhal that Backman had a knee injury. I've done my research. Apparently, that is not the case because after the Norwich match, obviously Xisco does his post-match press conference. They're always quite interesting, actually. So give them a watch if you have the spare time. But Xisco did his press conference and actually confirmed to Adam Leventhal that, in fact, Backman was not injured and it was purely a tactical decision. And that Xisco went for more experienced players in that Norwich game. And that's kind of, you know, the path Xisco went down for that game, because obviously Tom Cleverley come in into midfield, Craig Cathcart started at the back, and Ben Foster in goal. So what you've got there is three really, really experienced English players that is put in there. So yeah, judging by what Xisco said and how I've taken it, it was a tactical decision rather than actually an injury. Edward, again, this is really interesting, actually. Edward's gone with Rob Elliott. He deserves a game with Foster and Backman getting Premier League game time. I've got to disagree. I don't know why you would play Rob Elliott in a game like this. I think that obviously Ben Foster and Daniel Backman are the two best keepers at the club. You know, that those two should be competing for the starting 11. I don't think you should be giving someone a game just for sympathy. Obviously, I might be proved wrong and Xisco might play Rob Elliott. But no, I don't think you should be giving someone a game purely based on sympathy rather than anything else. And yeah, Michelle agrees with me. She would not play Rob Elliott. Absolutely agree, Michelle. Where can you watch the Xisco press conferences? So I just literally go on YouTube. So after the Norwich game, for example, it's posted onto like a Norwich media outlet. I think there's a newspaper there called The Pink Un. So I typed it up on YouTube, Xisco press conference, it come up for the Norwich game, and that's how I managed to watch it. Very, very simple. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting topic of conversation, the goalkeepers. It doesn't matter too much, really. They're both good keepers. I think that's something I've got to say. They're both very, very good goalkeepers. One of them a lot more experienced than the other, and the other one being Daniel Backman is ultimately going to be the future of Watford in goal. So you've got to both give them credit. They both have their pros, they both have their cons. Daniel Backman, you could say, is better at playing out from the back. And I think Ben Foster is better at actually making saves, which is what you want a goalkeeper to do. So, you know, it is very, very, very interesting. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Xisco goes with. I can never actually tell if Xisco's going to play someone or not. Sometimes he'll just throw Ken Sema in. He might throw a Daniel Goslin in. You never really know what Xisco's going to do. Bar is not on loan. Michelle Bar is actually at the club, although obviously he is a very, very young player. But you might see him on the bench tomorrow. I doubt he'll start, but yeah, he might make an appearance off the bench. And yeah, Peter, I don't think we'll see Ismail Assar tomorrow. I'll be shocked I would be so shocked if we saw Ismaila Sarr tomorrow. I don't even think Sarr will be in the squad, to be honest with you. But yeah, Ashley Fletcher definitely needs some game time. Quadawo Bar as well. We've not seen anything of Quadawo Bar yet at Watford, have we? So it'd be interesting to see if they both make appearances. And going back to a comment actually someone by earlier in the show. Let's see if I can get it back up. From Michelle, actually, she says Cucho to start. Now, I think Cucho is a fantastic football player, and I think he's got such a bright future ahead of him. But his future at Watford is currently being held back by 3 other brilliant attacking players in Emmanuel Dennis, Josh King, and Ismaila Sarr, and he's going to find it very, very difficult to get some game time ahead of them. Obviously, if we get injuries and you never know what happens in the season. Sarr could break his leg tomorrow. Like, we don't know. I hope I've not jinxed that. Touch wood. But you know what I'm saying. You've got to have the depth and quality in the squad in case stuff like that does happen. So I'm really hoping Cucho will start. Maybe Cucho, Fletcher, King up front. Maybe try and get King his first Watford goal. I think it's important that Cucho gets some more game time, that he continues to play, continues to develop, gets to know the tactics, the system. I think it's really, really key that Cucho does start in the game tomorrow. Do I think we can keep Sarr after January? Yeah, I think he'll be with us until the end of the season, and then ultimately, I think at the end of the season he's got 2 years left in his contract. I think that's the right time to sell him. 2 years left in his contract. He's stayed with us when we got relegated. He stayed with us in the whole championship season. He could have left in that January. I don't know if you remember. I think Liverpool and Crystal Palace made an offer for him in the January of the championship season, around 25-30 million pounds. So he stayed with us in the tough times. He'll stay with us presumably throughout the rest of this season, and then come the end of the season, I think there'll probably be a discussion as to whether we try and offer him a load of money and try and keep him at Watford, or if Watford get relegated or we have a poor season, I think Ismaila Sarr will ultimately look to leave Watford. So enjoy him while we got him, but I think he will leave at the end of the season. We've said Pedro's not available for this game. Still in training, is back in full training by the sounds of it, but Pedro is still not available for this game, which is a shame. I was hoping Pedro would get a few minutes in this game because he's not played for such a long time. I mean, when was the last time you saw João Pedro? It must have been, back in April, May time? It's been quite a while, and I can't actually remember the injury he got. It must have been, was it a groin or a hamstring injury? I can't quite remember, but it's been a while since we've seen João Pedro at Watford. Again, just adds more strength, depth, pace, dribbling ability to our attacking options that we've already got. Sarr, King, Dennis, they're all very good at interchanging with each other in that front three. Dennis can play striker, Sarr can play striker, the wingers can swap sides. So it's really, really good that we've got this strength and depth in the squad. And I was hoping to see Pedro tomorrow, so it's a shame that, according to Watford anyway, he's not going to be available for that game. And Rudy bringing up our next topic of conversation, because he says, looking forward to see Tufan play and how he will adapt to the midfield. Now, I agree, Rudy, and I'm really, really excited to see Ozan Tufan play at Watford. No, the Turkish fans are very, very excited. They've been commenting on all the Watford, Instagram posts or the Twitter posts. If you look at the replies to pretty much every single Watford post, there's always a few Turkish fans in there asking where Tufan is. We're finally going to see him make his debut tomorrow. I presume he'll start the game. That's kind of how I read Xisco's comments. And I think he'll add a lot more creativity to our midfield. And I think that's what we've needed, because you got Peter Atebo. You got to remember, we've been playing a midfield three pretty much of Musa Sissoko, Peter Atebo, and it's not... They're good players. Now, don't get me wrong, they're good players, but they're not creative players. And when we had Will Hughes at Watford, Domingos Quina, when he featured, Philip Zinkernagel even, these are really creative players who are always looking to play a forward pass. Whereas you got Peter Atebo, Sissoko, and it's just not... They're great, but I don't find them very forward-thinking. Now, what I mean by forward-thinking is they're never really looking to I think Sissoko is probably better than Atebo at doing this, but they're never really looking to play that forward pass or run in behind the defence. I think with Ozan Tufan, now don't get me wrong, I'm not an Ozan Tufan footballing expert, but from what I've read about him and from the little clips I've watched of him, he's got a good shot on him, a good long shot, and he can create, and he does have a few assists for his previous club. So it's going to be. I hope that Ozan Tufan will ultimately be a starter for Watford, and if he impresses against Stoke, there's an argument to say, why not throw him in against Newcastle? We saw the impact that Tom Cleverley had against Norwich, and Tom Cleverley pressing from the front was really really energetic throughout the game. If Ozan Tufan plays 60, 70 minutes tomorrow and impresses, I'd love to see him have a go against Newcastle. So it's a big game for Tufan, and hopefully Imran Louza gets a start as well, because I'm really intrigued to see a bit more about him. Am I worried about the African Cup of Nations? I am. I am very worried. So who we got at Watford? We've got William Troost-Ekong. We've got Adam Messina. So these are the players who will potentially be going to the African Cup of Nations. So we've got Peter Atebo, Troost-Ekong, Adam Messina, Ismail Assar, and Peter Atebo. So what is that? Six players? 5-6 players who might be going off in January, February time to play in international matches. It is a little bit, of course it's concerning. I think especially defensively, Adam Messina, albeit he's not starting for Watford at the moment, is a good bench option, good depth option. William Troost-Ekong is the key one for me. If we lose him for Dennis Louza, that's it. Yeah, wow. Loads and loads of players that are going off to AFCON. Troost-Ekong, if we lose him for a good month, we're going to have to play either Craig Cathcart or Christian Capicelle, who are decent footballers, but let's be honest, I think that Troost-Ekong and Sierralta partnership is brilliant, and Capicelle and Cathcart do have mistakes in them. So yeah, ideally, I don't want any of our players to go off to the African Cup of Nations. Sarr especially will be the biggest miss. But I say it's going to be a big miss. Of course, it'll be a big miss. We do have the strength and depth up top. But yeah, Dennis as well. Sarr, it is going to be difficult. But it's going to be difficult for a lot of teams. I think Liverpool have got a load of African players, haven't they? It is going to be difficult. I think they actually didn't they postpone the African Cup of Nations last year? I can't remember. I think they postponed it, and then we're playing it this year. But I could be completely wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Rudy saying hopefully if Louza plays well tomorrow, it will give him the confidence boost. I think he's been forgotten about. Excuse me. Yeah, I think Louza's been completely forgotten about at Watford. I've not really seen, when I've been at matches, I talk to obviously loads of people. I talk to my family. I think everyone's forgotten about Imran Louza. Like, who is he? Who is he? We've never seen him before. I think he played. When was Imran Louza's last game? I'm not entirely sure. Let me get up Transfermarkt. Really good website, Transfermarkt, gives you all the latest information. Let me see when his last game was. I think it was against Brighton, but again, I could be completely wrong. I do get a lot of things wrong. Here we go. Moved for a big fee as well. I can't see. Yes. So he played in the Carabao Cup against Palace, and then he played 45 minutes against Brighton, and then got substituted at half time. And ever since that Brighton game, we've not really seen any of him. I think Xisco probably looked at him in that game and thought, nah. Yeah, I do feel sorry for him. I mean, he looks a decent player. With Imran Louza, I think he was more brought in to replace Will Hughes. I think that's what the aim was with that signing. And look, hopefully he'll come good. And yeah, but if he doesn't play tomorrow, I think his future's already in question, because you saw what Xisco did with Keena, with Ben Wilmot. If he doesn't like a player and he doesn't really fancy them, he just won't play them at all, or he'll just chop them from the squad entirely. So So yeah, Imran loser, big game for him tomorrow if he plays. Ozan Tufan, big game for him as well. First Watford appearance. And I think that's pretty much it. I'll just read you a couple of quotes from Xisco's press conference that have been published on the Watford website. I'll see if I can get them up on screen for you. But yeah, Xisco's been really, really positive recently as well. I'm really liking the vibe that Xisco's got. Such a great guy, isn't he? Just seems like such a nice guy. But here we go. I got this up on screen for you now. These are comments from Xisco's press conference. And yeah, obviously it's the Carabao Cup. I know a lot of people won't bother going to the game. I am going to the game just because I love going to football. But it's a big game because we beat Norwich. You know, if we beat Stoke, then we go into the Newcastle game with ultimately the opportunity to win 3 games on the bounce, which is obviously absolutely fantastic. So Xisco says tomorrow is a big chance for us to take another step forward. The competition is important to us. The whole squad are working hard with a brilliant attitude. Talking about Ashley Fletcher here as well. Be interesting to see where he starts for Watford tomorrow. And then obviously he confirms that Ozan Tufan will play. Excuse me, just need to have a quick drink. But yeah, he says Ozan Tufan will play. There's potential for 1 or 2 of the academy boys to come in. That's interesting. I've not actually seen that comment. Wow, there's also potential for 1 or 2 of the academy boys to come in. So it'll be interesting to see who gets called up from the academy. They're working very hard, and I'm confident they can deliver. So interesting there. He's gone for a little bit of a different tone to what he did against Palace. Against Crystal Palace, he played a lot of first-team players. And there he's obviously saying that 1 or 2 academy boys, you know, could feature in the game. So a bit of a change of tone there from Xisco. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. Let me know your score predictions in chat, and we'll wrap up the stream there. Right. There we go. I think I've covered everything. I've got my notebook in front of me here. My lovely trusty notebook. We've discussed Ben Wilmot. Discussed that Peter Otabo is not available for the game because of the loan agreement between the 2 clubs. João Pedro still not available for the game. Ozan Tufan set to make his debut, and score prediction time. So I'm going to go with 2-1 to Watford. 2-1, 2-0. I'll go with 2-0. I want to keep the clean sheet. We've not kept... Have we kept a clean sheet this season? The Palace Cup game we did, didn't we? I think that's the only clean sheet we've actually kept, which is a little bit concerning. But we're going to keep another clean sheet tomorrow, so come on. But yeah, I'll go with 2-0 to Watford. And I think Ozan Tufan will score a goal on his debut, and the Turkish fans will go mental. And I also think that Cucho Hernandez will get another goal for Watford as well. So there we have it. That is my match preview for the game. Sorry if it's a little bit rushed. It is getting late here in the UK now, about 9:30 at night. So I want to shoot off and get ready. Get some much needed rest for tomorrow's game. Edward's gone 3-1 to Watford. Rudy's gone with 1-0. And Mr. Testosterone in chat has gone with 2-0 to Watford. So again, thank you very much for watching. I recorded a podcast with @Voices of the Vic podcast on Twitter. You can find it on Instagram as well. That should be going out tomorrow morning for your morning commute. So make sure to check that out. Recorded that with Mike Duffy and Ben Ayton, 2 top lads. So make sure to go and give the podcast a follow. Peter Fleming in chat has gone with 3-1 to Watford. I'm liking that positivity. And yeah, really, really looking forward to the game. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the links to all our socials in the description down below. I feel like I've been talking loads there. I'll go and have a rest now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very, very soon.